necessarily the easiest to set up and to put away. But for Father's Day, I visited my father, and he actually has a little studio in his house. And it has a bunch of cool stuff in there, especially like mic stands, and instruments. And so when I went there, I asked him if he had like a extra mic stand that he wasn't using, and the one he had available was absolutely perfect. So that is awesome. It's going to make this whole thing a lot easier setting up for videos, which is really good because I'm planning on making a lot of content. The thing that I keep running into more than anything else is noise. I cannot believe how much of a challenge it is to get quiet, 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 quiet. And so I think most ASMR artists film at night. But here's the thing. Yeah, like I think you can hear a plane right now, for example. How ironic that I'm talking about sound and there's a plane going by. The thing is, since most ASMR artists film at night, that would be the best time to film. But the thing is, although there is minimal sound, I would be super sleepy. You see, I go to bed at 8 p.m. every single day. In fact, I try to go to bed even earlier than that if it's at all possible. And I wake up at 4 a.m. Now, I'm not always successful. Sometimes I sleep until 5:30, depending on what time I was able to fall asleep. But I go to bed early and I rise early, and this schedule works great for me because I can have a morning before my day starts. So I think what I'm actually going to start doing is filming in the mornings, hopefully around 6, because lawnmower guys won't be out then. I despise lawnmowers. I feel like I can film through anything except lawnmower guys. Or leaf blowers, like gardeners. I swear they are out to get me. I'll set up to film, and I'll have everything all ready to go. I'll have my coffee. I'll have my camera set up. I'll have my computer, my mic. And once I hit film, someone starts mowing their lawn or blowing leaves every time. And it doesn't matter when it is in the day, it always happens. Where I'm positioned in my neighborhood, I have a lot of houses around me, and so it could come from so many different directions. There's so many people that could do it where you'd be able to hear it. I'm in a really loud spot, essentially. So what can you do? So the other day I went to my dad's house for Father's Day. As I mentioned, I saw my dad, and it's been really hard with social distancing and everything, but we make it work. And we actually played GarageBand, which was really cool. I haven't played GarageBand in so long. Or actually, I think it was Rock Band. I'm so bad at the drums, but I love the guitar. When I through. I played hours and hours of those games. Those are good times. And, while I was there, I started thinking about high school and stories from high school and like my high school experience. And so for today's video, I figured I would tell you a little bit about what high school was like for me. So if you aren't already sitting down or laying and relaxing, please do so. Grab yourself something to drink and let's chat about high school days. When I was in high school, I actually grew up in a really small town, and a lot of people didn't like growing up in that town because it was so small. They wanted to be in a place where there were things to do, and you have to understand, this town was really small. Like, I literally called it a cow town when I was younger. It was actually right in the heart of the California Valley, and for those of you that don't know much about the California Valley, it's basically a place where there's a lot of flat land, being surrounded by mountains. It's where a lot of wine grows. Like Napa, for example, is in the California Valley, and a lot of like really great vineyards are there. There's a lot of agriculture and things like that. And in my town, it was barely developing. It was super small at the time when I was in high school. It's grown a little bit since then. But there would be these like fields that would bloom these yellow wildflowers, and oh my goodness, they were so beautiful. I used to love driving around, listening to music, and just seeing the beauty around that town. But there wasn't much to do. And actually, when I was in high school, that's when I came out as gay, and it wasn't really by choice. Actually, I was speaking about like my sexuality, and mind you, I had just figured it out myself. I grew up Mormon, and when you grow up Mormon, you don't really, or at least if you're sheltered or like religious, you don't think of gay as even being an option. You just sort of accept the fact that you don't really like the opposite gender. It's really bizarre and kind of hard to explain. And so I was kind of at that place in my life, and until a girl kissed me, and then it like clicked, obviously. And from that point on, I kind of knew. And so I was speaking to a very close friend of mine about it, and I had left my phone on the counter, and my friend texted me, and my mom saw it, and she comes storming into my bedroom and is so upset. Oh boy. And then, of course, my whole family ended up finding out, and they, at the beginning, they really weren't happy about it. Like, they were struggling to accept it. They were struggling to accept it, and I think a lot of people, I've said this a lot, but it's just a part of my story. A lot of people, they sort of have this I could get them to kind of see and understand that I was still the same person. And so it took a year or two, but like they came around, and now my parents are my biggest supporters, my biggest supporters. They back me 100%. They're so supportive. They're encouraging. They love my partner to death and shower her with love. And it makes me so grateful that I tried to put myself in their shoes and understand their perspective and kind of empathize with them. I'm not trying to justify any behavior. I'm just saying that is my story, and that's what worked for me. But I found that to be sort of the thing that has helped me through so many different things in my life. If I can empathize and understand something, no matter how much it hurts me, I can overcome it. I suppose. I mean, I don't. It's sort of like understanding someone or something is the key to being able to see eye to eye and being able to overcome any pain or limitation that I may have. But that's what I found. And it's interesting because when I help others with this tool, it's really awesome to see how it affects their life. Sometimes in different ways than mine, but not everything can be solved with just simple understanding. Life is more complicated than that, right? However, it is often such a key part of being able to solve problems and being able to overcome and persevere. So, yeah, I feel very fortunate also because I know a lot of families don't accept their kids for being a part of the LGBTQ family. Like, they don't accept that, and that's really, it's hard to even understand. But again, fear makes people do awful things, and sometimes fear can even turn to hate. And I just feel really fortunate that my family accepted me. And in high school, there were a few people who were gay, not a lot, and they didn't necessarily get the best treatment. But I think that I was accepted because I was more feminine, which is really interesting. And I think it's just luck. My high school was actually really divided. If you can think about like a high school, like in a classic teen movie, that's kind of what mine was like. In fact, there was even a group of girls that were called the 10 because they were the 10 most like popular, attractive girls, all seniors. I mean, that's the kind of school it was. And I'm really fortunate that I didn't receive a lot of hate. And I think I just got really, really lucky. I also, at that time, experimented with dressing scene, or like emo, for those of you that don't know what scene is. SCENE. trying to figure out who I was as a person, and that kind of gave me a way to express myself, although I don't think it was the best way looking back, but at the time I understand why I did it. I don't know about you, but I love the sound of like fizz from soda. I always drink flavored water. Okay, so here's the thing. This is kind of irrelevant, but we had an old fridge that was like a really old model, and I would never drink water. I would always drink LaCroix or some version of sparkling water. And then we would have like a Brita filter that, excuse me, we would have a Brita filter that was room temperature that like was kept on the counter. And I never really drank that at all. And I thought that I didn't drink it because it was boring. Do you ever feel like that, where you're like, you don't want water, you want something different? And so every time I would be thirsty, I would go and drink a LaCroix instead of water. And then we got a new fridge, and this fridge was way fancy. Okay, it had a thing for the water and a thing for the ice. Major upgrade for us. And lo and behold, I started drinking water. Why? Because of ice. And I remembered when I was younger and I was living at home, like my mom and my siblings and I, we would always drink ice water. And it dawned on me, like the last couple places I've lived, I haven't had an ice machine. And I think that is why I have been dehydrated for like years. This is the dumbest story. It also sounds like I'm, what's the word? High maintenance. Like I must have ice in my water. But I don't know. I just didn't realize that was why I wasn't drinking water, is that I preferred not just cold water, like ice. I take my cup and fill it to the top with ice, so it's like 80% ice, 20% water. So it's really nice because I'm a lot more hydrated these days. But now our fridge is broken. So that's great. There's like a thing in the back that has like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a hose, and that came loose in the back, and my cats chewed a hole in it, and now the fridge leaks and won't make ice. So I enjoyed water for like a month. Wow, I feel like this just makes me sound so high maintenance. some are in southern Utah, and if you don't know a lot about Utah, southern Utah has a lot of red mountains and like red rock, and it's actually really, really beautiful. It's one of my favorite places. I love just free climbing there with my family, my cousins. I have a lot of really cool memories of just nature and exploring and being young and dumb and having fun and driving four-wheelers and things like that. Every year we have a family reunion, and it's my dad's side of the family, and it's like really big. My dad has 8 brothers and sisters, so we have a really big family, and everyone is so cool and so like warm and funny and accepting, and those reunions are so much fun. And when I was younger, we used to go to this location a lot for our reunion where there were kind of like cliffs and places to ride four-wheelers and like a big lake. And one time, I believe it was 50-foot cliff. Yeah, my cousins were jumping off of this like 55 foot, or so you get my gist here, cliff. They were diving off this cliff and jumping into the lake. Now, at this point in my life, I was still pretty young. The thing about me when I was young is I was the most accident-prone kid ever. I just was like, oh, you know those balloons, the guys at like car places that go like this with their arms, kind of like this. That was me throughout my entire childhood. Okay, so I've like broken my arm 4 times, 2 on each. I've broken like a finger. I've sprained my ankle like so many times I can't even count. And so all of my cousins were jumping off of this cliff, and I knew I shouldn't jump, okay? Because I started to figure out that I just shouldn't probably do things that other people do that are a little bit edgier, because I don't know how to control my flailing body. So they're all saying, Jenna, you know, you're up, jump off this cliff. And I'm like, no, like, no, I shouldn't jump. Like, I'm okay, like, it's fine. Well, then my brother joins us, and my older brother, Taylor, I look up to him a lot. He's so smart. He is, like, very scholastic, but he isn't. I feel like I have more of, like, the street smart, and Taylor is more like book smart, right? Like, we're very different. And so, not really thinking, Taylor starts encouraging me to jump. So at this point, I have my cousins who are like, jump, Jenna, jump. And then my older brother who's like, jump, Jenna, jump. So I go up to the cliff, and this is the first cliff. I've never tried this before. Okay, here's the thing. If you jump off of a cliff, don't close your eyes and control your body. I go up, I jump off, shut my eyes, and just let my body fall, whichever way. So it kind of happened like this, like I'm falling, and it went like that. So I like full on body slapped the water. The pain, I can like still feel it to this day. I hit the water so hard that I blacked out. And the next thing I remember is being on the shore. Apparently, my cousin and my brother jumped in after me and pulled me to the shore. Okay, but here's the craziest thing. The next day, the side of I don't know if it was the front or the back. I just know that I slapped, though I can't remember if it was this way or this way. I think it was face down, because I remember the next day I was laying on my back and I couldn't move because if I grazed my hand on my arm, it hurt like my body was bruised from hitting the water. You know, if I could just do things in not a dumb way, I could probably do fun things, fun adventurous things, but maybe I'm not the one that's like street smart. Oh man, I can't, it was so painful. That memory sticks out to me so much. There's so many memories that I have of like my injuries as a kid, because I just kept injuring myself. One time I was rollerblading and my dad made me wear like elbow pads, wrist pads, and knee pads, and a helmet. And I didn't like that. And I was nagging him and nagging him and nagging him, saying like, please let me rollerblade without it. Like, please, I'll be really careful. Please let me rollerblade without it. Please, please, please. Like, I would not let it go. So finally, he's like, okay, but you need to keep your helmet on. So I take everything off. He watches me for a bit. He goes inside. Not 5 minutes later did I fall and stop my fall with my wrist. Now, this is probably not that relaxing. I'm sorry if you don't like bones, just don't, bone stuff, just don't look at the camera at this point. Because the break, if this is if this was my arm bone, this goes like right here, like this, it went like that. So this was like protruding. Yeah, that was really painful. That was probably the most painful break, both when it happened and having the doctor fix it. So many memories of injuries. And so many memories of like being adventurous in Utah. With my cousins and family. Okay, so here's a story I would probably only tell on my ASMR channel. So at this point, I was in high school. I was visiting my cousin in Utah. And at this point, I wasn't drinking or doing anything. I was a completely square kid. And at the time, my cousin was dating this guy, and he was a little bit older attraction and like how it works, and yeah, it was really interesting. But like hours. But that's my idea of a good time. I'm odd like that. I just love getting into like debates and conversations like that. Okay, so we're having so much fun. We're having like a blast at this party, and it starts to get late. Okay, like past 10 o'clock. And there's a knock at the door. And we're like, oh, that's weird. It's really loud. Boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, that's super weird. And so one of the guys go over to check who it is. And he's like, oh my gosh, it's the cops. And everyone was like, don't let them in. Don't let them in. Because a lot of people were drinking underage, of course, right? And so this goes on for like 5 minutes where the cops are knocking at the door and people are saying, don't let them in. And at this point, I was like really freaked out because I was a square kid. I went to parties, but getting in trouble. I just wanted to be a good kid. I didn't want to be caught in a bad situation, being in an environment I wasn't supposed to be in, or that my parents didn't know about. And so there's this one kid that was there. I don't know if it was his house. I don't know what the heck, but he went up to the door and let them in. And so I freak out, okay? I'm like scared. So I run to a bedroom. It was kind of like a bunch of like, if you ever like lift up something where there's bugs underneath it and the bugs all scatter. It was like that. And so like I run into this bedroom and hide behind a door. That's a really secure hiding place. And police come rushing in, and I'm listening to cops one by one, like find different kids, and each kid that they found, they would take to the living room. And so eventually a cop comes to the room that I'm in. He goes, first of all, he shines a light. No lights are on. I'm standing behind the door. Imagine that. Imagine like this is the door, okay? And I'm standing, this is the door, and I'm standing behind it. And the cop is here, and this is the room. He like shines the light like this into the room. And then he comes inside and is like opening stuff and looking under the bed and walks out. He didn't find me. How? With me picking the worst hiding space ever. I don't know how he didn't find me. And so I'm at this point, pretty much all the kids have been rounded up, and I'm listening to them, like to like maybe 4 or 5 police officers, like start testing kids for like their alcohol level. And eventually I'm just standing there listening behind this door. I'm like, what am I doing? This is stupid. I have to leave at some point. What am I going to stand here for hours and hours and hours? Like, there's just no point. I'll just go out there. So I walk out there, and a cop was like, where did you come from? And I said, oh, I came from behind that door. really sad. Like, they would pull a kid up. They would ask them, like, okay, well, have you, like, drank anything? Have you, like, blah, blah, blah. The kid would be like, no, like, super tough. They test them. Of course, they had drank, and they would get written a ticket, and then they would start crying. And, I felt bad because, like, they're getting ticketed, which really sucks. Like, they have to go home and give that slip to their parents. And so, eventually, they call me up, and an officer goes, okay, so, have you had anything to drink? And I said, no, sir. And he said, are you sure? Because, see all those people sitting there crying? They all said they didn't have anything to drink. And now they're crying. And they have tickets. And I said, sir, I don't drink. You can test me. So he tests me. And of course, 0, 0. And he tests my cousin. And of course, 0, 0. And he looks at the two of us and says, go home. We were the only two people that didn't drink. And we got really lucky. Because all those kids were not so lucky. Those were early days when I was just a precious little kid in high school. Man, that was quite long ago. But I have that vivid memory of me standing behind the door and the police shining the light in the room and me like hiding. Oh my gosh. Why I did that, I picked the worst possible spot. I had a couple different relationships when I was in high school. They usually lived long distance. For me, growing up in a small town, I really didn't like. I took refuge in the internet. Okay, you may have noticed that the camera has shifted a little bit, and that is because my camera died. My camera died. So I had to pause and charge it. But that's okay. High school. We're talking about high school and growing up. After I came out in high school, I dated a few girls. I would kind of find solace in the internet. Back in these days, MySpace was all the rage, right? Like, I remember you would make a page and customize it to high heaven. You would, like on my page, for example, when you clicked on it, a song would play. I worked real hard on that, designing that page. That was a really cool element of those days, was creating a page that you designed, kind of like Tumblr, where you got to put some creativity into it. Also at this time, emo and scene was really popular, and there were these things called trains. section called the bulletin. And think of it kind of like a place where you could make a post show up for all of your friends, similar to a feed. Like if you were to go on Facebook and make a post, and how your post appears to your friends. That's what the bulletin was for. It was a place where you could say something to all of your friends. Ironically, though, this was just a small feature. This wasn't the main part of MySpace. It was just one of the sections of MySpace. Okay, so what a train was is if you were somebody that was emo or scene, you could be added into a group. Now the group would have a name, so let's come up with one. What about Vampire Roses? Okay, so you come up with a name like that. If you're cringing, then I get it. I cringe at this too. I was just, oh boy, we're gonna push through. So let's say you join this group called Vampire Roses, and everybody in this group has to be approved. You have to make it in, and they accept you if you are if they like your photos, if they like your scene pics, your emo pics on your profile. If you get accepted, there's a condition. You have to post a bulletin every single day promoting the train. And how you would do it is they would give you this link, and when you copy and pasted the link, at the top it would say Vampire Roses. And then there would be the face of every single person that was a part of the group with their name underneath, including you. In other words, you're promoting all those people in the group, and all those people in the group are promoting you to their friends, and so on and so forth. And this is how you get more friends on MySpace. In other words, think of it like a complex follow for follow situation. This was really, really popular in the scene, MySpace realm. And I am sad to say that I was a part of a few trains. I never kept up with it though. I was way too forgetful. I would miss a couple days, and then if you miss a couple days, you're out of the group. So, yeah. But I felt super cool to be accepted into that elite group. But yeah, I would meet a lot of girls through the internet. One girl that I dated, lived in LA, and she would come up to visit me while I was at school, which is kind of funny. I would legit be in school, and she would come up to visit me, and yeah, that was, it feels like forever ago, honestly. But we didn't date for that long. In the beginning of my life, I just didn't understand how to commit. I just didn't understand commitment whatsoever. And so I hurt a lot of people, and I didn't mean to do it intentionally. But when you don't know what you're doing and you let fear control you, you're gonna hurt a lot of people. And I let fear control me in a lot of my decisions when I was younger. And if I felt fear. I took that as a sign. And fear, although it can communicate a lot of things, it's often not communicating the thing that you think it is. You should listen to fear, but you don't want to necessarily jump at the first thing it tells you to do. You just want to kind of, okay, I could actually talk about fear for so long. I'm getting off of the story. So when I broke up with this girl, she was as understanding as someone that's been hurt could be. You know, she wasn't like, she could have been way more upset. So I get it, right? And so I thought, okay, this is a pretty amicable breakup. I know that this person's upset, but what can you do? And some time passed, and there's this place kind of down the street from my old house that I used to go to. It was tucked into this like nestle of trees. You had to cross a river to get to it. And listen, this little place was like my hideaway. I would go there and listen to music and think. And as a fairly emotional person, I had a really strong connection to this place. It was so close to my house, so it was just a really short walk, and I could just like decompress and like just let my teenage emotions kind of flow through me. And and I showed her that spot. She's one of the only people that has seen that spot. Okay, so some time passes and I go to that spot, and I think at the time I was upset about something. I was like hurting. I can't remember what it was that I was going over there for. And I cross the bridge, go up to it, and there were stickers all over it. I think they were her stickers. And that was the most jarring, like, I can't even tell you. I'm at a loss for words. She honestly felt really, really bad. And come to find out, it was her friends that had actually done it. Like, her friends did it. Her friends were there. She had friends that lived in the same town as I did, and they did it. It's a long story, but oh, man. Walking to that area and expecting to be in this like ambiance place, and then seeing, I mean, they were everywhere. The ground, the trees, the bushes, I mean, all over. It was, if as a like revenge thing, it was actually pretty good. But I'm totally cool with that person now. You know, there's not a lot of people that I used to date that I'm not on good terms with, because they're good people, and they found it in their heart to forgive me, which I really, really respect. Not everybody, but some. And I think that's really cool if time passes and you can come to common understanding. I think that's really cool, especially since a lot of the times I was the one that wasn't making the nicest decisions, right? Oh man. Thought I heard my cat. High school. Okay, so my battery's gonna die again. So here's the thing. I'm gonna end this a little bit early. Just a little bit. We're almost to the mark. I just want to make sure that I get to say goodbye to each and every try and get a battery that lasts a bit longer so we can make more of the long rambles. If you enjoyed this type of video where I just ramble and tell stories for a long time, please like this video. Please let me know down below in the comments section, because I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts. I'm really interested in knowing what you think about longer style videos. Thank you to each and every subscriber. I know that I still have a lot to learn, but I hope that you're seeing some improvement in the content. Please let me know if you have any suggestions at all. I would be more than happy to accommodate that. And yeah, that is going to be it for today. I love you all. I hope you get a good night's rest. And if you have a day ahead of you, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you at the next one. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I'll see you next time. I'll see